Libra, my beautiful soul of balance and quiet strength, let me tell you something clearly. Right now, you are about to receive what you've patiently earned. You're about to get rich not only in money but in meaning. Good karma is active, and the shift that's coming is not just big, it's unstoppable. You didn't click this video by accident. In a sea of scrolling, something deep within you, maybe a whisper, a quiet nudge from the universe, brought you right here, right now. And that is no small thing. Because when Libra listens to intuition, magic unfolds. Take a breath. Ground yourself. What you're about to experience isn't just another horoscope reading. This is a spiritual transmission, an energetic alignment, and a direct message from the divine blueprint of your life. You've carried so much, Libra, always trying to do what's right, offering peace even when your own heart was in pieces. And now, finally, the scales are tipping. But this time, they're tipping in your favor. What if I told you that everything you've been waiting for is already on its way? That the delays weren't denials, they were divine timing preparing the soil so that when the blessing arrived, it wouldn't be temporary. It would be permanent. Rooted. Real. You're not just watching a video. You're entering a sacred moment of alignment. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and blessings, is activating your second house, the domain of wealth, value, and self-worth. Pluto is releasing your financial restrictions. The heavens are literally clearing the way for you to prosper in a way that feels safe, sustainable, and deserved. But none of this matters unless you receive it not just with your mind, but with your whole being. So let me ask you, Libra, are you ready to stop resisting abundance? Are you ready to live the version of life you used to only daydream about? If you feel that tug in your chest, that knowing in your gut, comment below and claim it. Declare it. Say, I'm ready to receive the abundance I was made for. Or share the angel number that's been following you. Maybe it's 888, 1111, or even 222. There's power in writing it. You're anchoring an energetic contract when you do. And while we're here, let me take a moment, a real one, to thank you. Truly. Thank you for showing up. For choosing to be here. Every like, every share, every comment, every subscription. It's not just support. It's sacred. You help this channel, Zodiac Whisper Tarot, become a sanctuary for souls like yours, the builders, the givers, the hearts who still believe in something deeper. And I mean this with everything in me. Libra, you're going to want to stay with me until the very last moment of today's message. Because what the universe is about to reveal is nothing short of spectacular. So now, pause and ask yourself, what brought you here? Was it a quiet pull from spirit? A dream you haven't dared to speak out loud? Or maybe something you can't explain, but you just know you're meant to hear this today. Whatever it is, you're welcome here. You're not just visiting this space. You're part of it. Let's begin. Sometimes, change doesn't crash in like a storm, it rises like quiet water beneath the surface, steady and certain. And Libra, what's moving toward you now isn't a coincidence or a lucky break. It's a sacred return, an energetic response to what your soul has been planting through acts of integrity, patience, and compassion. This isn't about chasing miracles anymore. You've become the miracle through every silent choice to be kind, to stay fair, to give when no one was watching. The universe, in its perfect rhythm, never forgets what's been sown with intention. There's a reason you're ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty, balance, and values. Yours is not a sign that screams for attention. Instead, you seek to restore order where there is chaos, to create harmony where there is pain. And in doing that, even in the smallest, quietest moments of created ripples that are finally returning as waves of reward. The current energy in early November is not just shifting, it's aligning with everything your spirit has been quietly calling for. This isn't a new path, it's the unveiling of one you've already walked with grace. You may notice unexpected shifts appearing in very grounded ways. A delayed payment suddenly clears. A past client reaches out with a better offer. An opportunity that had slipped through your fingers returns, this time more aligned. Someone who once overlooked you might now see your worth, not because you've changed who you are, but because time has finally revealed what's been true all along. These are the whispers of karmic alignment in motion. Not dramatic, but powerful. Not loud, but undeniable. In moments like these, it helps to slow down and reflect not just on what's arriving, but on what within you has allowed it to arrive. The law of cause and effect isn't just a concept. It's lived through every boundary you upheld, every temptation you resisted, every time you held onto your truth when compromise would have been easier. And now, the world is beginning to reflect your inner order. While this may feel like a turning point, it's also a soft invitation to continue trusting the pace of life. In my years of guiding souls through transformation, I've seen this pattern again and again. The ones who receive the deepest, most lasting breakthroughs are not the ones who push the hardest, but the ones who remain faithful to their process, even when results aren't immediate. That's what you've done, Libra. And it's why what's coming to you now won't feel like a rush, it will feel like recognition. You don't need to chase or control what's ahead. Instead, anchor into what already feels right. Let your nervous system rest in the knowing that you're no longer waiting for your life to begin. You're living inside the response to every prayer you didn't know was heard. The financial shifts coming your way may be measured in numbers, but the real transformation is the inner safety they bring, the stability that allows your creativity to breathe, your heart to open, and your choices to be made from freedom, not fear. There's a quiet grace that surrounds you now, one that doesn't demand applause. If you felt unseen in your journey, this is the time where the universe gently pulls back the curtain. And yes, blessings are on the way, but more importantly, you're beginning to see yourself the way heaven always has, worthy, whole, and more than enough. You don't have to do anything more to prove that. You've already done the work. The seeds are blooming now. Stay open, stay steady, and let the return find you. There's something quietly extraordinary about what's unfolding for you right now, Libra. The cosmic landscape of early November isn't just shifting in your favor, it's unlocking a vault that has long been sealed by uncertainty, hesitation, or past limitations you didn't even realize were still lingering. What's happening now is a direct response to the seeds you've planted in faith, even in the seasons where nothing seemed to bloom. And what's most incredible? You're not only receiving more, you're being invited to value more deeply who you've become in the process of waiting. Jupiter's current activation of your second house is significant not just astrologically but energetically. This is the house of money, self-worth, resources, and how you allow life to support you. When this area lights up under Jupiter's expansive influence, it can feel like life is suddenly giving back in tangible, affirming ways. But here's the deeper truth. It's not that the support wasn't available before, it's that now, you're finally aligned enough to allow it in. This isn't a reward for being perfect. It's an opening that mirrors your own readiness to receive without guilt, to trust without control, to live without constantly calculating what you're allowed to hope for. At the same time, Pluto's departure from the shadows of your financial chart offers a powerful reset. Think of this as a long overdue breath of relief, one where you begin to reclaim your power in areas where you once felt at the mercy of external forces. If you've spent years trying to prove your value through productivity, overgiving, or sacrificing your needs, this transit is inviting you to rewrite that story. And not with loud declarations but through small, consistent acts of sovereignty, setting financial boundaries, asking for what you're worth, choosing to feel safe even when the outcome is uncertain. Astrology often reveals patterns that our daily minds can't see. But what it does best is remind us that divine timing isn't just a concept, it's a lived rhythm. This moment? It's not random. It's the cumulative echo of every time you chose peace over panic, growth over grasping, and wisdom over fear. It's the season of return, not just of money, but of inner equilibrium. The true abundance you're calling in now isn't only about income, it's about freedom. Freedom to make choices not out of survival, but from a space of quiet confidence. Freedom to imagine a future where your well-being isn't a luxury, but a foundation. In spiritual coaching, we often say that clarity doesn't come when we rush for answers, it arrives when we become calm enough to hear the answer that was always there. That's exactly what this phase is offering you: the clarity to remember your worth, the clarity to step out of cycles of over-efforting, and the clarity to open your hands rather than tighten your grip. You don't need to micromanage the miracle. You just need to stay open long enough for it to meet you. And perhaps in the pace of modern life, where constant striving has become normal, what you're being asked to do is actually far more radical: to rest into knowing, to receive, to accept that good things can happen without a fight. It's okay to want more, Libra. It's okay to say yes to what supports you. You're not selfish. You're finally in season. And if you need a reminder on the hard days, just remember this: sometimes God doesn't show up with thunder, He shows up in perfect timing. In a call answered. A payment cleared. A door opened just when you were about to give up. Stay present. The door is already opening. And the only thing left for you to do is walk through it. Sometimes, the universe speaks not through signs in the sky, but through the symbols that echo within you. And in this moment, Libra, the message from the tarot is both clear and divinely timed. The appearance of the Wheel of Fortune, the Six of Pentacles, and the Magician in your energetic field is not a coincidence. It's a sacred sequencia-coded reminder that your financial destiny is not only in motion, but responding directly to your own inner evolution. These three cards, when drawn together, form what we often call a gateway spread, a configuration that signals not only incoming change, but the kind that is both earned and sustained. The Wheel of Fortune reminds you that life's cycles are always turning, and while we can't control the wheel itself, we can align ourselves with its rhythm. If things have felt unpredictable or delayed lately, take this as confirmation that the tides are now shifting in your favor. The energy that once seemed out of reach is beginning to move toward you, not because of chance, but because you stayed the course. You showed up, did the inner work, and trusted when things didn't make sense. Now, that faith is being reflected back as movement, clarity, and opportunity. The Six of Pentacles speaks to divine reciprocity. It tells the story of someone who has given freely, not only materially, but emotionally, energetically, spiritually. Perhaps you've offered your time when you had little left. Perhaps you extended forgiveness when it wasn't asked for. Maybe you helped others believe in themselves, even while silently doubting your own worth. This card is here to remind you that the universe never forgets an act of generosity given with a clean heart. What you once gave without expectation is now making its way back to you with interest, and in forms that may surprise you. Support is coming not as charity, but as an answer to your consistent giving. And then comes the Magician. A powerful reminder that you are not just a participant in this process, you are a co-creator. You don't have to wait for the perfect time or the perfect plan. What you need to begin is already within your reach. The Magician shows up when it's time to trust your talents, your voice, your ability to take the raw materials around you, your knowledge, your connections, your passion, and shape them into something new. This card calls you forward, not to hustle harder, but to believe more boldly in the frequency you are emitting. The more intentionally you align your actions with your values, the faster your reality begins to reflect the abundance that's been waiting on you. In the rhythm of early November, between the 1st and the 10th, there's an open energetic window of fertile ground to plant the seeds of what you want to see grow. Sign the contract if it feels aligned. Launch the idea that's been whispering in the background. Apply for the grant, the job, the opportunity you thought was out of reach. Take that first step not to prove anything, but to show the universe you're serious about receiving. And even if nothing arrives immediately, know this: energy never lies. What you offer and trust will find its way back with more power than you send it out. You might not always feel like the wheel is turning, or that your work is enough. But momentum builds in the quiet. Just because the door hasn't opened yet doesn't mean your knock has gone unheard. Keep aligning. Keep showing up. And write it down, anchor it in the physical realm. Say it aloud in the comments: I am ready to create wealth through my energy. Because the moment you do, you're not just hoping and reactivating. It's easy to think of money as something purely material: numbers in a bank account, bills to be paid, goals to be reached. But Libra, beneath the surface, money is first and foremost an energy. And like all energy, it responds not just to effort, but to belief. This is where many people get stuck. They do the work, they show up, they try to stay positive, but the results don't reflect the effort. Why? Because something inside still whispers, I don't deserve this, or worse, this isn't meant for me. When you've gone through seasons of lack, of being overlooked, underpaid, or told to be realistic, your nervous system holds onto that as truth. Over time, those external messages begin to turn into internal beliefs. And those beliefs? They become invisible walls, quietly shaping what you allow yourself to ask for, what you expect to receive, and how long you're willing to wait. You might not say the words aloud, but deep down, you might feel hesitant to want more. Afraid that wanting abundance makes you greedy. Or that receiving too much will somehow mean someone else goes without. But Libra, that's not how the universe works. Abundance is not a pie with limited slice, it's a stream. And when you learn to open the channel within yourself, the stream doesn't just trickle in. It flows. Shifting your financial reality doesn't begin with strategy, it begins with healing. It begins with releasing the belief that says, I have to suffer before I can receive. Or the belief that, someone like me doesn't get those kinds of blessings. These aren't just thoughts. They are energetic agreements you've unconsciously signed. But the beauty of energy is this: it can be rewritten. In my work with energy healing and universal alignment, I've seen time and again how powerful it is when someone chooses to break the inner contract that says they are only allowed to survive. That moment of choice, that breath where you say, enough, creates ripples. Real shifts. I've watched people release deep stories of scarcity inherited from generations past, and within days, receive the phone call, the payment, the open door they thought would never come. Not because they manifested harder, but because they stopped pushing against their own worth. Even in the context of modern faith, we are reminded again and again, you are not forgotten, and you are not required to prove yourself worthy of provision. Sometimes the miracle doesn't come as a lightning strike, it comes as the subtle moment when you stop apologizing for wanting more. When you stop shrinking to make others comfortable. When you stop waiting for permission to feel secure. Ask yourself gently, what do I really believe about wealth? About my own ability to have peace around money? Am I still waiting for the world to validate that I've done enough to deserve it? And if so, could I let that story go, even just a little? You don't have to change everything overnight. Sometimes, the most powerful shift comes from a simple decision, to no longer argue with your own worth. Let today be that shift for you. Let this be the moment you take your hands off the lid. Not with force, but with quiet certainty. You don't need to grasp for wealth that's already circling. All you need to do is open the space within to receive it. Write it down. Say it aloud. Affirm it until it feels real. I am worthy of every blessing that's been waiting for me. The more you live inside that truth, the more reality will begin to reflect it back. Not because you earned it, but because you finally believed it was already yours. When your financial foundation begins to feel more secure, Libra, something subtle but life-changing happens. Your heart softens. Not in weakness, but in clarity. Without the noise of financial stress clouding your intuition, you begin to feel more honestly what love really is, what it needs to be, and who is truly meant to walk beside you in this next chapter. This is one of the most sacred shifts that occurs when abundance flows, not just money into your hands, but peace into your soul. Because real love doesn't thrive in chaos. It grows in safety, in presence, in calm. For those of you who are single, there's a quiet transformation happening in how you perceive partnership. You may have spent years giving too much, waiting too long, or compromising who you are for the hope of being chosen. But now, something in you is changing. You are no longer seeking a whirlwind. You are calling in something grounded. Something honest. Someone who doesn't just show up when it's easy but stays when it's hard. This connection may arrive gently, without fireworks, but with a deep sense of being known. It carries the energy of the King or Queen of Pentacles, mature, emotionally present. This person may not say much at first, but their actions will speak volumes. And for the first time, perhaps in a long time, you won't feel the need to prove your worth. Because they'll see it right away. And if you are already in a relationship, you might feel a soft unraveling of tension that's been building beneath the surface. Conversations around money, roles, responsibilities, things that may have once triggered blame now begin to open into shared understanding. You're entering a space where rebuilding becomes a mutual decision, not a chore. Where instead of defending your perspective, you're learning to build a new perspective together. Sometimes healing doesn't come through big gestures. It comes when you both simply decide, we're done surviving, we're ready to build again. What's beautiful about this moment in your life is that love no longer feels like something you have to chase. It begins to feel like home. Like something that returns to you after a long journey, wiser, more aligned, more able to hold you without dropping your heart. This is the love that comes not to fix you, but to walk with you. In my years of guiding souls through both romantic transformation and inner healing, I've seen this pattern again and again. When people stop seeking love from a place of emptiness, they attract connections rooted in truth. And often, it's in the most unexpected moments while you're focused on your own peace, while you're not even looking, that love arrives. Quietly, yes, but unmistakably. Let me share something I've seen unfold time and time again in real life. A woman prays silently, every night, not for a partner, but for peace. One morning, without warning, she reconnects with someone she had once loved and let go, not because she needed them, but because she had finally made peace with herself. In another story, a man who had given up on love altogether begins focusing on his art, his healing, his faith. And one day, someone walks into his life who doesn't just admire his growth, they match it. These are not coincidences. They're confirmations. When you create room within for love to land, it finds you. Not the version of love you once tolerated, but the version that reflects the person you've become. So whether you are waiting, rebuilding, or simply allowing, know this: you're not doing it alone. What's meant for you is already moving toward you. And the love that's coming next, it doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. Stay open. You've already done the hard part. Now let it come home to you. Libra, as we come to the close of this message, I want you to take one more breath, not just with your lungs, but with your spirit. Breathe in the knowing that you are not the same person who started this video. You've heard every word not just as information, but as confirmation. You didn't arrive here by accident, and you certainly didn't stay by chance. Something inside of you, something quiet but powerful, knew that you were ready. Ready to receive. Ready to return to your own truth. Ready to begin again, not as someone searching for answers, but as someone stepping into alignment with the answers that have been waiting within you all along. This isn't just a turning point in your finances, your relationships, or your self-worth. This is the moment where you begin to reclaim your role as the author of your story. You are not here to be told what will happen. You are here to remember that you get to decide how you move forward. The cards, the stars, the signs, these are just mirrors. The real shift, that begins with you. The moment you choose to trust in your timing, to take aligned action, and to stop shrinking in order to stay small in places you've already outgrown, the universe responds. So I want to ask you something. What are you willing to release today in order to step into the version of you who's already abundant? What old story are you finally ready to put down? What belief have you outgrown but still carry out of habit? You see, Libra, sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come not from adding more but from letting go of what no longer resonates with your worth. You've heard powerful affirmations today. You've learned that your financial energy is changing. That love, real love, is circling back in a new form. That what you thought was delay was really divine preparation. But none of that matters unless you choose to believe it, to live it, to embody it. That's your invitation now, not to wait, but to act. Gently. clearly, consistently. So take this moment to anchor the energy. Say it out loud. Write it in the comments. Speak it into existence. I choose to believe in what is good. I open my life to wealth, to love, and to peace. Let your voice create the vibration that draws your new reality closer. Because when you speak with faith, you don't just manifest, you magnetize. And if something in your chest is stirring, if your heart has whispered, "This was for me," then I encourage you to stay connected. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and most of all, share it with someone you love, someone who might need this same reminder that change is not only possible, it's already on the way. Here on Zodiac Whisper Tarot, we are more than a community. We are a sanctuary for souls like your souls who are ready to remember, to rise, and to rebuild in alignment with who they truly are. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. For choosing to show up. For choosing to believe. You could have closed this video at any point, but you stayed. And that says more than you know. That means you're ready. That means you're open. That means the shift is already happening. Now, Libra, the next step is yours. Will you take it? Will you walk into the new chapter that's already waiting for your yes? Will you trust that everything you've built quietly is finally ready to rise? Let the universe know. Let yourself know. And until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and stay in your truth. You are more powerful than you've ever been told. And now, it's your time.